Welcome to the Spiritualpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Christian, aka Love Pixel. And in each episode, we sit down with spiritual entrepreneurs sharing their knowledge, wisdom, and tools on their path to authentic success. Let's dive in. What is up, beautiful people? This is Christian from the Successful Spiritualpreneur Podcast. And today I'm super excited to have Kareen Zahr Walsh on the show. She's a visionary business and people strategist, author, podcaster, investor, and 7 to 8 figure business building entrepreneur, making her the ultimate business healer. With nearly 2 decades of experience in optimized performance in e-commerce, health and wellness, technology, and finance industries, running top performing teams in complex environments, Kareen has a proven track record of helping C-suite executives turn their vision of impact into action, often resulting in 10xing their investment. Welcome to the show, Kareen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to have a conversation and serve your audience.
I know. It's such an honor to have you on. And one of the first questions we usually ask, what is your definition of a successful spiritualpreneur?
So I think, first of all, just to be successful, you need a spiritual path, like a connection, meaning to me, it's the one method that helps us get connected to our truth. And if we're not sitting in what's true to us, it's very hard to then go cultivate what you want tangibly around you, which is generally, the entrepreneurial way is to figure out how you can create something that earns you something. And then, in relationships, it's about how connected you can be. But if you're not able to be connected to self, then how can you really connect to others, right? So I think it's really about a truthful stance in who you are and then cultivating it from there.
Beautiful. And I love the title you've given yourself, which is the ultimate business healer. How? Because you have such a track record in also like results based and performance driven,
Strategy,
just marketing and all the things that you do. Like, yeah, like, how come business healer?
So in my inner growth, right, like I'm consistently evolving. And I found that if I hold space for the executives and the leaders that I work with and the entrepreneurs that I work with, you actually get to the root of what's blocking them from the growth of their business when you actually unblock them from what's happening to them personally. And so in my practice, I found that as I grew in my own business and unblocked myself and did my own healing journey and then became a healer myself, I found that I integrated it really well into business because I know when you have people behind what you're trying to build, there's always something inside that you need to work on. And so business healing is a term that people started using with me only because they'd be like, sometimes you feel like my therapist, or sometimes you feel like, you are my coach, but then sometimes you're also a strategist. Like it's all the modalities. I think healing requires like a multiple disciplinarian method. And so I just started incorporating it with my clients and in my containers, right? My coaching containers. So when I work with my groups one-on-one, I always integrate breath work and releasing of things. We do very much basically the work to help keep them present so that when we're building their business, they actually know who they have to become to lead it. And that's also, part of a healing journey, because sometimes you have the micro traumas of just trying to run a business and you're constantly getting this like, what do I do now energy? And so I make sure that we cultivate space so that you can do the inside in order to create the outside.
Yeah, I really love that about your approach, that you seem to really have the perfect balance of yin and yang. When you work with businesses or work with people, like it's incredible to have someone like you who knows how important not only the external is, but also especially the internal, because everything comes from within, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I love your mission because you say you're on a mission to help people integrate their inner business with their desire for external impact in an aligned
Yes.
way,
Yeah.
you know, which I think
Yeah.
is very rare. Like either somebody who is on the like spiritual side or the therapist side, or you get someone who's really just on the business finance strategy. This is how we do it, but they kind of ignore the core or the person that's at the center of it. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, you do an incredible job of like
Integrating.
merging and combining.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I call it integration
So
only because when we sit in the separation, especially as entrepreneurs, that we are not our business, right? Like our business is a reflection of our capabilities. And I think when you can create the detachment a little bit, because we're very passionate when we go into a business, especially like service-based businesses or holistic health businesses, or even when you are a gifted true healer and then you now have to go sell your services for, you know, what you just want to gift the world. I think there's challenges in that, right? Like, because it is a masculine energy to be very um, strategic and driven and focused, right? Which you need for business. But then it's also a very feminine energy in all of us that wants to be giving and wants to be expansive and wants to care for others. So you're right. You know, I've done my best to try to integrate the two, but also show other people that it is possible too. Because I think for me, there were many years where I was like choosing, and then I wasn't being authentic to myself. Which you asked that question in the beginning, like what's that definition of spiritual success? It's literally standing in your truth and answering from whatever version of you wants to show up in that moment, which could lean into either energy, right? And it takes time to figure that out for yourself, but it's been so life-giving to be able to do it for myself, but then also show up for others and help them too. But I use the word integration, you know, for that.
yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that concept of just like being in that equilibrium point and just like yeah, being able to integrate both sides. So
Yeah.
how like in your business and what you do with your clients, like I guess or a more direct question would be like what do you offer? Like if somebody would come to you, like what can people expect working with you and in what kind of like regards, yeah, what are the different
Yeah, the
levels of
different
working with
ways
you?
that I serve. You know, it honestly, it's so beautiful that my most of my business has been because a client that has worked with me tells another person, "Oh, you need Kareen," and they're like, and they're kind of like, I can't even describe why you need her, just you need her. so,
Hmm.
and it's because I can rise to any occasion. I meet everybody where they're at, and then we figure it out together, you know, where to take it. But the methods of working with me, I mean, I do group work, and then I also have one-on-one work. If it's an entrepreneur that is looking to ensure that they are stepping into leading their business in a way that is authentic to themselves and wants to achieve financial wins through it, unsure of how or feels blocked to how, you know, I definitely can do that in a group setting or in a one-on-one setting. Most of my clients initiate with what I call my VIP strategy session, because when in that strategy session, what I actually do, which is surprising to them, is that the first hour of our time together is vision work. We actually sit and we start to visualize, like, what are you wanting out of all of this that you're doing, or that you've built, and where do you want to take it? But it's also the vision of your life and your business. I don't If you're as an entrepreneur, it's not separate. One fuels the other. Your business is fueling your life, is the way I see it. So in the first hour, we go through vision work, and I sit and I hold space and I draw out the vision of what you want to go to. And then the second hour is when we get strategic. Like, okay, if that's the end goal, now what? Like, now what are the actions and what's the strategy to help you get there? What are the potential blockers we have to unblock? You know, so that's some of the one-on-one work I do. If it is a true business that's been in place for a while and they want me to kind of really help them initiate who they have to become as a leader and have a full-fledged strategy built out, I do offer a 2-day immersive experience where we basically are together for 2 days, and you go through my whole Evolve methodology, which is a 6-part method, so that we're looking at you in your business. What is it that you want? mapping out the strategy, mapping out the offers, how are we going to validate it, the whole thing. So there's different ways to work together. I always just say, reach out and then we'll figure it out together, because I like to assess and make sure it's a fit for both parties if it's my one-on-one time. But in the group setting, it's also, you have a lot of advantages too.
That's beautiful. I love that. And you also have an app. It's called Hey Kareen. You guys can check it out under heykareen.com.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Like, how does that fall into your offerings and service, and how does it help people?
Yeah. So, as you know, we all have a capacity of how much time we can actually serve others, really. And then there's time for us to refuel ourselves. So I was reaching capacity at being able to assist in all the requests coming my way. And I was finding that it was a struggle for me to figure out, could I train other people to do what I do with them? And it wasn't the route I really felt would be grounded and also really an integrity of how to serve, because I know people were coming, into my business for me. So I cloned myself in AI, which is what the Hey Kareen app has. I've taken my 20 plus years of business acumen, all of my coaching calls, every single podcast I've ever been on, the podcast I ran myself, my books, everything, centralized it into, the machine of sorts, and then gave it my personality so that people can actually have on-demand entrepreneurial guidance based on my methods in one place, and they can actually get the support they need on the go. And that felt so freeing to be able to create, because I'm no longer the physical blocker for people to get the support they need. And so the app allows them to do that. And it's been really cool. I launched it back in August of 24. So we're still in our first year of the launch of it, and we're still enhancing it. And it's all things content related to my approach on business and life. It's sitting in that app for people to leverage. And it's been wild to just see the response for those who use it pretty much daily when they have their questions. And I'm sitting right there with them, which is pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's really, the future of getting ourselves, our voice, our insights, out there for others. And also, like, especially like what you said, or what we said in the beginning, it's that having that alignment or that integration piece from the beginning. Like when I ask Google or ChatGPT, like I ask it, but it's kind of like just neutral, zero starting point. But when I ask Kareen, I get all the wisdom channeled for my question, which is, it's incredible, like.
Yeah, you can call her too. She'll
that.
talk to you. Like, there's so much interaction. It's pretty wild. Yeah, and it's all based on true experiences, and then also how I would approach it. And you get coached through it. So the difference between, and chat, the other AI platforms are starting to do it now, where they ask you like follow-up questions to continue. But this is a platform where we made sure it asks you the follow-up question to help you get clarity, to like help you take action, to make sure that it's of value as you're, working through it. So yeah, it's been pretty wild to get it out there.
Yeah, I love that. And are there kind of group calls included with that app on like a weekly or monthly basis? Or like, is there a community that not just I'm talking to a thing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I do offer a monthly live coaching call. And in that coaching call, it's mainly to help you assess where you are with the activities of that month. So that's why it's like every 30 days. So that you're getting traction in whatever it is you are focused on, but you actually do get live coaching from me too. So anybody who shows up to that live call, we go through what I call my retrospective exercise. We make sure we have clarity on maybe what's blocking you, or if you're sitting in uncertainty of like what action to take next. And then I always have, the latter half of the time together to do live coaching with whoever joins. And that's been so fun. I love when the community comes together, because my favorite is when they start helping each other, and then they're making connections like offline, and they're helping each other out in their businesses. And So that's been a really cool way to also keep my pulse on like what is going on and what do people need help with, so that I make sure that I'm, creating the right content to go into the platform, or just making sure I'm reaching out to support them as needed, which it's been great.
Yeah. That's so cool. I really love that. And if somebody like, let's say, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can afford her one-on-one coaching services, they can just,
Right.
sign up for the app and explore that and
Yeah.
get the same process, get the same tactics and insights and frameworks. So I really love that, you offer that. It's very rare.
Yeah, I try to, I don't ever want to be the blocker for someone getting the help they need. And I am one of those that like, I love when you just leverage my lessons learned, leverage the hundreds of thousands of dollars I've invested in building what I have today. So you don't have to like, please, like go take advantage of it, because you'll just accelerate your path, which is what I feel I am. Like I am the conduit to help you achieve what it is that you want. It's not about me. It is about you and my heart of service. So yeah, it's been fun to launch something that is way more approachable than the capacity of my time being the issue, to work with me, which
Yeah.
is, yeah, I still have my clients, but it's a very small amount that I can work with in the depth that I work with them. So it's been fun.
Yeah. So let's say there's someone out there that are, kind of like, they've launched their website, they've been in business for like 4 or 5 years, and they're kind of like in this growth phase of like, I want to just like broaden my offering. I want to, rebrand, revamp, like that kind of thing. And what are kind of like the tools you would recommend them to, hey, if you do this, like make sure you get this and this and this. Like, is there any sort of tool
Yeah.
set or like recommendations you have
So, when we are,
other than the app?
yeah, yeah, no, no, for sure. I'm going to give you an approach, because I feel like, so many times we question, are we doing enough? Right. And or we are bored with what we've been doing, and we're like, what else could I be doing? And so I love those questions, because it just means that potentially you're at this point of evolution in yourself. Like, I want to see what else is out there. Well, when you have built a business, so if you're 4 or 5 years in, you've obviously built something that has sustained. You have done it in a way that obviously people come and buy from you. And now it's kind of, well, who's it for? Like, have you actually? So, question number one is, with this shift you're going towards, are you also shifting who it's for? Like, did you have lessons learned? Because this happened to me where I was doing a service, and when I first launched my business, and I was like, yeah, okay, I know I can do that, but it doesn't actually excite me to do that anymore. So if it's not exciting me and working with those type of clients, then who do I want to work with? And I always love to encourage people to focus on who it's for, because when you know who it's for, then you start asking the questions of, well, what is it that they actually want? And what is it that they want that I actually provide? Okay, and if I were to provide that, what would I charge for that for that specific group, and what would they actually pay, right? I think we miss the step sometimes when we're the creator, where we love to just put our own stuff out there. And I've had several years of like creating things, and then they just fall flat because I didn't think about who it was for. And I think that's a really great reminder for people to have, especially if you're in this shift. Like, I have a stable business, but I want to do more, or there's something else. First, focus on who it's for before you design what you're going to offer. And then test it. So this is the validation stage of my Evolve methodology, where I always encourage people to design something and go sell it before you build it. If you go and you sell it for who it's for, and you get 5 people to buy it from you without it even being ready, then you know you hit the mark, that you have something that people want. Now it allows you to say, okay, I can go invest in it because people are actually going to buy it. Because again, I have created so many things where it's just because I'm the creator, where I didn't think about who it's for, and then I put it out there to sell, and it just falls flat because I didn't validate it before building it, and I didn't make sure that the price point I had was accurate, the offering was accurate, that people actually wanted it. So that's what I would say to someone going through a transition of I've been doing the same thing for a while. We're doing pretty well, but I kind of want to see what else is out there. Go through almost like a design sprint of what it could be, who it's for, and then validate it before you actually go and invest your time and money in creating it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's super valuable with that approach in mind. And are there any platforms you usually send people to, to like, hey, you should do your website on this, or, CRM or things like that on this platform? Is there any like
No, I
preferences you
don't
have, or you
really. I
say,
mean,
oh,
it
I don't
really
know, just
there isn't one that I feel like assessing what it is that you're trying to do and finding the lowest cost method of getting it done to get out there and sell it is the best way to get started. I mean, I feel like I've been on all the platforms. I'm, tried different things and I've learned on all of them, but they all do the same thing now, pretty much. So it's really about, what is the best features for you, and don't pay for more than what you need, right? And so being really clear on what are the needs before you go assess the platforms and invest in it, I think is important. But anything, you can
yeah,
build anything on any CMS tool these days. I mean, it's very, very easy to build an online storefront and sell. It's pretty wild, but it's who it's for, and what is it that needs to be designed a certain way so that those potential buyers of your services want you, right? And that's the trickery, I think, more so than the platform.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And same, same with our clients, because I run an agency too. It's called Love Pixel Agency, but like it's the same thing. Like we tune in with them, like what's best for you, because it's not just a cookie cutter approach where you can say these are the best platforms. It really depends on what people need and what they want to build.
Yeah.
Because yes, this one has physical shipping, but I don't need it. It's like stuff like that.
Yeah, and you don't want to pay for so much. I've been on so many different robust platforms, and then I realize I'm not using 75% of it. So then I have my team start like downgrading us to like basic. Just give me the basic. Like most of it is just to either hop on a call with me or buy an offer. That's it. Like I don't need that much. I'm not lately I don't build online courses anymore because they've gone into people have gone into so much overwhelm on digital learning, so it changes. It really does change too. And you just want to pick the platform that will grow with you or shift with you. But even still, if you have to move, as long as your domain stays the same, it doesn't, the back end is, you could be selective, whatever works best.
Yeah, beautiful. And what do you like? How do you approach content creation? Like, do you have, I guess, is there a methodology that you use, or like what is that kind of like formats that you use? Like, how do you do that?
So in creation for what? For like socials, or creation for like what, in what context?
Yeah, I would say social. Yeah, to generate traffic. Hmm.
Yeah. So when you're building your brand, because that's why you're creating content, right? You want to make sure that you're consistently sharing a message for attraction and also for credibility, know, like, and trust. So I think with me, I mean, being on all of these podcasts, I've been on a podcast tour for a while. It's been pretty cool to be able to get content from all these shows because I share tips, tools, approaches, and then it gives me ideas. It's like, oh, wait, you know what? I should go like write something about that, or I should go post about that. And so having conversations always helps me create content in the act of service that I know, I love to step into. So what I do is I'll get ideas from these conversations. Obviously, once the content also comes to me from the shows, then I will break out little pieces so that it helps me share the show, but it also gives me a way to serve my audience in a short bites versus, the long form, like the whole conversation. So that's been really helpful from a content creation standpoint. A lot of my coaching calls are when I'm on with clients. If I have an aha with them, like going through something, after the session, I will quickly record something, because video seems to be working way better than static content lately, and I will at least create a video that allows me to share what happened with that client or what I work through with them, because it's fresh in the moment. And then my team can then go also and create, if they want, static posts from that as well. But that's what I do on the fly for content creation from actual work I'm doing. And and then what's great about my Hey Kareen app is that I get questions all the time. It's anonymous that comes into the platform, but I can go look up and see what questions have been being asked. And then I can also create posts from that as well. So there are different ways that I create content to serve my audience that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So let's switch gears a little bit, and I would like to ask you some more like personal questions. And so it's about what currently inspires you on your spiritual and entrepreneurial journey.
So what inspires me on my spiritual journey, which is what is impacting my entrepreneurial one, is I am at the stage now where I just want to be pulled towards something and no longer push towards something. I've gotten to a certain level in my career life or my entrepreneurial life where, I always say this to my clients. I'm like, if the hustle turns into a hassle, it's no longer for you. Like, that's not where you should be spending your time, right? So again, if the hustle turns into a hassle, it's no longer for you. So if you flip that around though and think about it, it means that you've lost the desire to show up for it. So that means it's a push energy to show up in. And so in my spiritual path, I've been like, okay, what brings me pleasure? Like, what pulls me forward? Like, what are the things that I want to just like light up for? You talk to me about it and I'm just going to hammer in there and be so excited to do it. And then that means I also need to release the things that have a push energy in order to show up for it. So like the have to list, I don't believe in. I believe I get to. So if I have a have to energy, that means it's something I have to delegate, or something that I have to stop doing. I have created, like I said in the past, business services that no longer fit with who I'm trying to serve. So I have to let those go, and move on. So my spiritual path, I at this stage for me is actually what leads my entrepreneurial path. So I'm going through, this transition and like launching the Hey Kareen app was something that was so gifting to me because it actually freed me up to say, you know what? If I no longer want to coach for some reason, if I no longer want to stand in that, I've now built my legacy of how I did it and, in the past do it, etc., that people can leverage forever. And I don't personally have to show up in it anymore. I can now evolve past that version of me because it lives on. And I didn't expect that with this, the design to put this out into the world. But that freedom that I felt, I was like, wow, this creates a lot of space. Because if I no longer want to do it and it lives there, then who do I want to be and how can I pull forward? So that has been really the journey in the last 2 years, helping me drive things forward, which has been great.
And what are now in your current, life and entrepreneurial experience, like what are some top, 3 to 5 topics that you just like don't want to stop talking about because you're so excited about it for some reason?
Well, lately, I find myself on repeat saying, like, who do you have to become to lead in the vision that you truly want for yourself? I think leadership and effective leadership are the two things now that I just am constantly in conversation on because I don't think we breed enough leaders. And I feel like we have to have more conversations on and methods and skills on like, how do you actually lead in an authentic way, not in a way that is that push energy, right? So that I'm obsessed about talking about, and I bring it up all the time. Secondly, I find that lately I am very much about the money mindset around things. So I created this magnetic money mindset tool. It's a workbook people can go through. You can get guided through it too if you want. But the magnetic money mindset, to me, I found with every single entrepreneur that hit a plateau in their earnings, it was because something was going on in their mindset financially. It wasn't about their capability to actually earn more or build more or do more, because strategy is in the how. We've all mastered the how. You could do it. But what I realized was it's a mindset blocker. So I started talking about that a lot too, and also my own focus on like wealth creation and how to give back, how to have impact. And so I do talk about that a lot too. And that's at heykareen.com/money mindset if anyone wants that program. And I talk about that a lot too. And then that inner knowing, right? Like the releasing of what no longer serves you. It's probably the third thing that I always talk about. It's what I do in my breath work with my clients. Like I really want to make sure that you're not carrying around the things that are weighing you down from being so present today to tackle what's happening today. And especially when we're living in such a high anxiety environment, we need more grounding tools, and we need to be able to hold space for each other to feel more grounded, but also to release just what does not work, and stop carrying that weight around, because it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve anybody else you're trying to serve when you do that. So those are probably the three topics that I obsess over. Yeah. That's like where I stand. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's always cool to see like what is like on people's mind, right? Because like that is where their energy currently is and what they're feeling.
Yeah.
It sounds like it is very much on the soft skill mindset, right? Spiritual side of things. So this like that's where your spirit currently wants to go, because you have done the hustle and some of it has become a hassle. And now you're just like, well, I'm still not done growing. This is my vision. How can I get there? So
yes.
I love how you're already manifesting it. So it's great.
And then it's a lot of fun.
And so about your vision, your legacy, like what are like three words you want people to know you for after you leave this physical incarnation?
Yeah. Well, I feel like my core purpose is to always make people feel loved. Like that's my purpose, is that they know that after they either interacted with me, they feel more loved or more seen, and love themselves a little better. Is kind of where I feel my inner calling is. The other areas to be known for, I think, is like anything's possible. I was talking to a client recently where she's like, you just help me like take back control of what it is that I'm showing up for every day. And it's because you make me feel like it's possible to actually go do it. But so not only am I like in it, she said, but I actually know and feel like I can go do it. And that's also very life-giving in an impact way, because if one person working with me is feeling that way, then their purpose is going to be showing up in life even more. And I feel like the ripple effect of that would be, is really cool to know and say. And yeah, it's really about the connection and the way that they are able to pay it forward, I think, is what I hope I leave this earth, physical body leaves, and they think about me fondly that way. What's so wild about this AI, though, is that she lives on and you can still talk to her even when I'm gone, which is pretty intense, to think about too. So anybody who misses me can actually still converse with me if they want.
Yeah, it's crazy what's going to be possible, or what is already possible.
Yeah, so wild.
Yeah. So last question before we kind of enter, the closing out of the podcast, and is what's your vision of the new earth? However, you define that.
Yeah, because right now I just feel like we are in a heavy state of being. Like if I sit in where we are in the world today, and the what's it? It's like a purging is happening right now, is the best way to describe it. Where the new earth to me is like getting through this phase. And I wish I knew how long it would last. I do know it's going to be longer than what we hope for, which is unfortunate, but which is why our inner work is so important right now, to stay connected to self in our highest form. Because once this phase is over, that's the where we all have to step up as I'll just say like light leaders, basically, so that we can reconstruct from the new level that we're meant to be in. And I feel like that consciousness, and my hope for that consciousness, is how I would view the new earth to be. And I just hope it comes faster than what we're going through right now. But I would say, if I were to describe it, we are more connected than ever from a conscious standpoint, and our caring for each other actually rises up too. We leverage technology to get through things faster so that we can actually spend more time together. That is kind of the vision that I have for the new earth. And I feel like more collaborative efforts are going to be coming to fruition, and more desire for like partnership and togetherness is where we're headed. So much separation is going on right now in order to really create the what needs to be completely removed and what needs to be built up. And so, as scary as that feels, like that kind of stretch between us, that clearing has to happen in order for us to truly come together. And that's my hope for the new earth.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I love that. And I think that's exactly where it's going.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
And as part of the, closing of this podcast, I always invite people, our guests, to just like, what are your future goals out there? Not only
Mm.
like you as the guest, of course, but also people who are out there. Like, what are your spiritual entrepreneurial goals as a company, as a brand? Like, and then
Mm.
obviously, you can share yours, Kareen, and to just like do a little vision exercise of like, what are you calling into your life?
Yeah. So I've had this vision for a long time where I feel like I'm meant to speak on really large stages, and I haven't done that yet. And I feel like it's because, well, I'm saying I'm in the works for it. It's going to happen. But the the
Mm-hmm.
reason I feel like there's been this lag for it to happen is that I have been preparing myself for the energy it takes to hold a space and a room that is, that large, to have the shift that I want everyone to feel seen and heard, but also again know what's possible. So the vision for myself is to like really get out of my own way and do things on a larger scale, but also keep it and the feeling of intimate and deep at the same time. So in that vision work, I feel like it is a global tour that I will be going on. And I think my third book, which right now I'm kind of titling Onward, is the way to create the platform for the conversations that I hope to have from a large stage. And that is really to help people get through whatever it is that's blocking them to achieve what it is that they want and in the life that they have right now, and not sit in the waiting anymore, is my hope. Because I feel like, again, if we could breed more leaders and we can create that authentic stance in life, then how much more awesome would it be to show up every day for each other? It just impacts, that ripple effect impacts everyone.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah, it sounds like you already have a very clear vision of what's coming, and the clearer it is, the sooner it comes. So that's
Exactly.
really beautiful.
Exactly
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So yeah, and with that, our last question is, what are the last words you want to leave our audience with? And then obviously, where can people find you apart from the links that we're going to put in the show notes, of course?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would encourage anybody listening to, if you're feeling stuck, if you're sitting in any sort of overwhelm, if you're unsure of like what the next best step is to take, just know that you just need to start asking for the help that you need. Like, you probably are 1 degree away from knowing for sure what that action is, but sometimes you just have to talk it through with someone, or you need to, bounce it off other people who have gone before you, asking them, how did you get there? Because I'm interested, but I have no idea where to start. Like, just ask your questions. I think it is so critical we stop ourselves because we get embarrassed, or we don't, like, it might be a dumb question. Get over yourself and start asking, because I know you'll get there faster if you start asking questions. The faster you start asking questions, the faster you'll get to the results you want. And I just want to remind listeners to do that for yourself. Obviously, you can start with the Hey Kareen app. So you asked me where you can find me. That's heykareen.com, and it's on Google Play and Apple. You can join me for my live calls if you want to interact with me in person. Those are free monthly calls. So just join and see how I serve and help you in person. Come ask your question there. But if you want to connect with me, I hang out mostly on LinkedIn and Instagram. Instagram, you see behind the scenes of my life. I share a lot of like my spiritual practice and my workouts, and then there's some coaching going on and what's happening with my business. But truly, just connect. If there's something I can help you with, please, I will do my best to see how I can support you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom, all your heart, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Christian. I appreciate it. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.